Asylum in Germany, the four forms of protection, legal basis, and BAMF decision. Explained. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Life in Germany. Imagine this. You applied for asylum in Germany. You had your BAMF interview. Then you waited. Finally, an official letter arrives. You open it and see words like Asylberechtigung, Flüchtlingseigenschaft, subsidiärer Schutz, or Abschiebungsverbot. But what do these words actually mean? What is the legal basis behind them? And does a positive BAMF decision mean that you already have a residence permit? In this video, I'll explain the four main forms of protection, their important legal references, and what happens after the BAMF decision. What is BAMF? First, let's understand BAMF. BAMF stands for Bundesamt für Migration und Flüchtlinge. In English, Federal Office for Migration and Refugees. BAMF is the federal authority responsible for examining asylum applications in Germany. An important part of the asylum procedure is normally your personal interview, called the Anhörung. This is where you explain why you are seeking protection. BAMF examines your individual case, your statements, and other relevant information. It then decides whether one of the relevant forms of protection applies. And there is an important point to understand. There isn't simply one positive asylum status. Different forms of protection exist. What is a BAMF Bescheid? After BAMF makes its decision, you receive the decision in writing. This is your BAMF Bescheid. The German word Bescheid means an official written decision from an authority. If protection is granted, you may also hear people use the expression Anerkennungsbescheid. In simple English, you can understand this as a positive recognition decision. But don't look only at whether your decision is positive. Look at exactly which protection BAMF has granted or recognized. That information is extremely important because the four protection outcomes are not legally identical. Let's examine them one by one. Number 1. Asylberechtigung. First, Asylberechtigung. In simple English, entitlement to asylum. The central legal basis is Article 16a, Paragraph 1 of the German Basic Law. In German, Article 16a, Absatz 1, Grundgesetz. This is Germany's constitutional right of asylum for people who are politically persecuted. So an easy reference to remember is Asylberechtigung, Article 16a of the Grundgesetz. However, specific legal requirements and limitations apply. For example, Germany's constitutional asylum rules also contain restrictions connected with safe third countries. So you should not assume that every person who has experienced persecution automatically receives the specific protection called Asylberechtigung. Another form of protection may apply instead. If a person is recognized as entitled to asylum, the resulting residence permit is generally issued under Paragraph 25, Absatz 1, Aufenthaltstitel. Remember that distinction because we'll return to it later. Number 2. Flüchtlingseigenschaft. The second form is Flüchtlingseigenschaft. In English, refugee status. You may also hear Flüchtlingsschutz, refugee protection. Under the current European asylum framework, refugee status is regulated by Regulation European Union 2024-1347. The granting of refugee status is addressed in Article 13. In simple terms, refugee protection concerns a person with a well-founded fear of persecution connected to particular protected grounds. These include race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership of a particular social group. Persecution does not necessarily have to come directly from a government. Depending on the circumstances, persecution by other actors can also be relevant when effective protection is not available. But simply coming from a dangerous country does not automatically mean that someone receives refugee status. The individual circumstances and legal requirements must be examined. If BAMF grants refugee status, the resulting residence permit is generally issued under Paragraph 25, Absatz 2, Aufenthaltsgesetz. Number 3. Subsidiärer Schutz. The third form is subsidiärer Schutz. In English, subsidiary protection. This can become relevant when a person does not qualify as a refugee, but would nevertheless face a real risk of serious harm if returned. The current European legal framework is again Regulation European Union 2024/11347. Article 15 explains what legally relevant serious harm includes, and Article 18 concerns the granting of subsidiary protection status. Serious harm can include the death penalty or execution, torture, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment, or a serious individual threat to a civilian's life or person because of indiscriminate violence in an international or internal armed conflict. So remember the basic distinction. Refugee status concerns persecution connected to specific protected grounds. Subsidiary protection can apply when those refugee requirements are not met, but the person nevertheless faces one of the legally recognized forms of serious harm. If subsidiary protection is granted, the resulting residence permit is generally issued under § 25 Absatz 2 Aufenthaltsgesetz. Number 4. Abschiebungsverbot. The fourth form is Nationales Abschiebungsverbot. In simple English, a national ban on deportation. Two important legal references here are § 60 Absatz 5 Aufenthaltsgesetz and § 60 Absatz 7 Aufenthaltsgesetz. Paragraph 5 is relevant where deportation would be unlawful under protections arising from the European Convention on Human Rights. Paragraph 7 can be relevant where a person would face a considerable and concrete danger to their life, physical integrity, or liberty in the destination country. In certain cases, serious medical circumstances can also be relevant under paragraph 7. But be careful with the meaning. An Abschiebungsverbot does not mean this person can never be deported from Germany under any circumstances. The finding concerns deportation to the country or countries covered by that prohibition. If an Abschiebungsverbot under paragraph 60 Absatz 5 or Absatz 7 is established, the resulting residence permit is generally dealt with under paragraph 25 Absatz 3 Aufenthaltsgesetz. Compare the four. Now let's put all four together. Number 1. Asylberechtigung. This is Germany's constitutional asylum protection under Article 16a of the Basic Law. Number 2. Flüchtlingseigenschaft. This is refugee status under the current European International Protection Framework. Number 3. Subsidiärer Schutz. This protects a person who does not qualify as a refugee, but faces certain legally recognized forms of serious harm. And number 4. Abschiebungsverbot. This can prevent deportation to a particular country when the applicable legal conditions under paragraph 60 Absatz 5 or Absatz 7 Aufenthaltsgesetz are satisfied. All four can provide protection, but they are not legally identical, and that matters when you receive your BAMF decision. BAMF decision versus residence permit. Now we come to one of the most important parts of this video. Your BAMF Bescheid and your Aufenthaltserlaubnis are not the same thing. Think of the process in two steps. Step 1. BAMF. BAMF decides the asylum and protection question. It determines which protection, if any, applies. Then comes Step 2. The Ausländerbehörde. The Ausländerbehörde is the local foreigners authority, or immigration office. Following the relevant positive protection decision, the Ausländerbehörde deals with the resulting residence permit under the applicable residence law. That is why you can see different legal references. For example, Asylberechtigung is connected with Article 16a of the Grundgesetz, while the resulting residence permit is generally under paragraph 25 Absatz 1 Aufenthaltsgesetz. Refugee status and subsidiary protection generally lead to a residence permit under paragraph 25 Absatz 2. And an Abschiebungsverbot can generally lead to a residence permit under paragraph 25 Absatz 3, subject to the legal requirements. So remember, protection status and residence permit are connected, but they are not the same legal decision. What if the BAMF decision is negative? What happens if BAMF does not grant protection? If BAMF concludes that the applicable requirements are not met, the asylum application may be rejected. Different types of negative decisions exist, and their consequences and legal deadlines can differ. If you receive a negative decision, look immediately for the Rechtsbehelfsbelehrung. In simple English, information about your legal remedies and deadlines. This is extremely important because legal deadlines can be very short. Do not assume that the deadline from a friend's case or something you read online automatically applies to your case. Read your own BAMF decision immediately and obtain qualified legal advice where necessary. Quick summary. Let's summarize the most important points. Number 1. Asylberechtigung. The central legal basis is Article 16a, Paragraph 1 of the German Basic Law. The resulting residence permit is generally Paragraph 25, Paragraph 1, Aufenthaltsgesetz. Number 2. Flüchtlingseigenschaft. The current European framework is Regulation European Union 2024, SIR 1347, including Article 13 on granting refugee status. The resulting residence permit is generally Paragraph 25, Paragraph 2, Aufenthaltsgesetz. Number 3. Subsidiärer Schutz. Article 15 of the same European Union regulation defines serious harm, and Article 18 concerns granting subsidiary protection status. The resulting residence permit is generally Paragraph 25, Paragraph 2, Aufenthaltsgesetz. And number 4. Nationales Abschiebungsverbot. Important legal bases are Paragraph 60, Paragraph 5, or Paragraph 7, Aufenthaltsgesetz. The resulting residence permit is generally dealt with under Paragraph 25, Paragraph 3, Aufenthaltsgesetz. And remember the central message. BAMF decides the protection question. The Ausländerbehörde deals with the resulting residence permit. Disclaimer: before we finish, an important disclaimer. This video is for general, educational, and informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, immigration, or official government advice. German and European asylum laws can change, and every asylum case depends on the person's individual circumstances and the law applicable to that case. Rights concerning residence, family reunification, travel, benefits, permanent residence, and naturalization can differ depending on the protection granted and current law. Always read your own BAMF decision carefully and verify your individual situation with BAMF, your responsible Ausländerbehörde, or a qualified legal advisor. If your decision contains a legal deadline, do not rely on this video to calculate that deadline. And that's the 4 main forms of protection in Germany explained. Subscribe to Life in Germany for simple explanations of German bureaucracy and everyday life in Germany. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.